How are you?
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well...
Well,
Pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All three would drink wine together by the river, and he would help his friend to get acquainted with her. This they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the pious knight. The stern knight was enraged and challenged his rival to a duel. The two fought long and fiercely, but they were equally matched. And so, in the end, they both fell mortally wounded, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from one of the knights and plunged it into her own heart. Their bodies lay together on the ground, and the blood flowed from them into the river, turning the waters crimson.
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know, who does?
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them?
Goodbye.
Chickens. That should be no problem. Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all.
Can't you see there's people here?
Jesus Christ be... God
Dear people, Sigismund took everything I had.
Come on up and see.
Bread! Bread!
Good health to you. Good luck then.
Not spoiled enough. Just lamb now.
Jesus! I see a thief! Thief!
Jesus! Jesus!
Hey, who's there?
Surrender! You'll have to answer
All right,
to your lord.
you in.
I saw... Well, you won't forget this in a hurry, because it'll take a nice pile of coin to fix it.
You're making a serious mistake. If only you knew what you've just got yourself into. This won't end well for you.
Well, I thought... That is, I had no idea. If that's how it is, of course you may go. What the...
Who was that you killed, you brute? Where are you taking him?
Shit!
This is a different kind of meat. Hang on, this is venison from roe deer. No wonder it's under lock and key. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Not spoiled enough.
need to switch the lamp.
Hey, what are you playing at here?
It's you! You crippled someone! You should have thought twice about what you're doing. That will land you a fat fine.
Just my luck. Look, I can't tell you anymore. The fate of the whole empire hangs in the balance between King Wenceslaus and King Sigismund. High politics, you know?
What's that?
Not a peep to anyone.
Well,
Who's there?
I thought... That is, I had no idea. If that's how it is, of course you may go. Surrender! You've committed a crime and I'm arresting you.
Good day.
So, how am I doing so far?
Good work, Henry. The whole village is shaking in its boots. Soon people won't step outside the door without saying 3 Hail Marys.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm beginning to feel haunted myself.
Everyone is talking about how all the butcher's meat went off after being touched by the hand of evil.
What, does this look like the hand of evil to you?
The baths are closed. No one will tell you why, but everyone is clearly frightened. No one in Ledechko would eat a single egg, even if they had any, because all the hens are hexed.
Well, at least they've got fuel for their fires. So, the job is done, eh?
Not quite.
But you just said the whole village is shaking with fear.
The whole village, but for one individual.
Well, surely that doesn't matter.
That's what I thought too. Only this fellow is giving everyone the benefit of his wisdom. He needs shaking up before he undoes your good work.
But if he's not been scared yet, what more can I do to frighten him?
Well, when he's not hanging around here ruining my trade, he's in the tavern boasting that he'd happily sleep by that empty grave to prove there's no revenant.
Yeah, I bet he would.
Exactly. He just needs a little persuasion. And once he's there, make it the most terrifying night of his life.
Well, what are we waiting for then?
It's best to be well prepared. You ought to find out something about him, so there's no surprises.
The gossip woman?
Naturally. And Henry, before we get to that grave, you can still try and come up with more ways to frighten the villagers. The more terrified they are, the more groschen there'll be in it for me. For us, that is. See you later.
My pleasure.
Hey. No luck at dice? Rabbit paw, come on!
Jesus Christ. Your clothes. Were you assaulted? Damn bandits, may they burn in hell.
Good wife.
Yes, lad. What can I do for you?
You know, I can't stop thinking about what happened to that poor wretch.
Have you no consideration for a poor old woman? I told you I don't want to talk about it.
It might relieve you to talk to someone.
Relieve me from what?
Well, guilt.
Guilt? Why should I feel guilty?
Now, clearly something weighs heavy on your soul, just like the other villagers. The older ones. And I'd say it's connected to that empty grave. Well, that wretch returns as a revenant, and no one does anything. It's not just fear, but more like everyone is expecting some punishment that was bound to come one day.
Oh, you might be right. Maybe it would give me some peace in my old age to finally tell the whole story. Several people from the village went to have it out with Lev. but he grabbed an axe and drove them off. He swore if anyone came near him, he'd burn their house down. Then he buried his wife and child in the meadows beyond Ledetchko. I saw him carving 3 statues there.
Lev, you say his name was? What kind of statues?
There's 3 roughly carved beams there, each with a human face, except the smallest, which has no face at all.
For the stillborn child, I suppose. What happened then?
Nothing. He went back to his work, but never spoke to the villagers again. He'd even go all the way to Ratte for food, rather than talk to anyone here.
So he died alone in the end?
Actually, it was the villagers. It was us that killed him.
What? Just on account of his stealing?
No. Not long after, fires started springing up in the village. And when the first house burned down, the folk were very angry.
And of course suspicion fell on Lev.
Everyone was dead certain it was him. They all remembered his words. Do you know how arsonists are punished, lad?
No, I don't.
By burning on the pyre. But no one wanted to waste time with the law. We just went to his house at night, smashed in the door and windows, and threw lighting torches inside. And that was the end of him. But the fires didn't stop.
So he was innocent?
He was.
Well, I won't condemn you for it. It's for God to judge, but... may he forgive you for it.
Thanks, lad. I pray every day for forgiveness, and it's a weight off my shoulders to tell someone.
May the Lord watch over you.
Good wife.
You're still here, lad? I thought you'd have fled by now.
Fled? Why on earth would I do that?
Because there's a revenant on the prowl. The whole village is talking about it, and everyone is terrified.
Ah, that. But I heard there's one brave lad who's not afraid.
You mean Felix?
Well, I don't know what his name is, but he's always arguing in the tavern that there's no revenant.
That's him. The fool doesn't believe what's going on under his own nose. He hasn't the sense he was born with.
Is he brave or just stupid? Surely he's afraid of something.
I couldn't tell you. But if he's to be believed, he doesn't fear the devil himself.
And do you believe him?
Well, it's true he never seems bothered by anything. But then he's always with that other pair.
What pair?
2 mates of his.
But he was alone in the tavern.
Aye, they're not locals, but outside the village, wherever he goes, they go with him.
He even said he'd spend the night at the graveside, just to prove there's no revenant.
Aye, all talk and no action.
Who are these 2 fellas?
They're not bad lads, but they're no heroes, that's for sure.
How's that?
Them 2 have their fears, but then who doesn't?
What are they afraid of?
The first one wouldn't even go into the woods alone, because he's afraid of wild animals.
Ah, is that so? I wonder why.
He got lost in the forest as a young lad, and he wasn't found till next morning. Shaking and pale as a ghost he was when they found him.
Poor lad. He must have been scared out of his wits.
That he was.
What about the other one?
He's afraid of fire.
Why?
His own father burned him, God forgive him. As a young lad, he was playing with fire and nearly set fire to the house. So his pa taught him a lesson he wouldn't forget.
Poor lad. That's a terrible way to teach a child.
My words, exactly.
Ah, it's been an interesting chat. Thanks, good wife.
Good luck, then.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Buy my potions made from magical herbs plucked from the flanks of Mount Olympus.
This brave fella, Felix his name is, if we can get him to spend the night at the grave, he won't be alone. Wherever he goes, he always has 2 mates tagging along.
Like he's afraid to be alone.
Could be.
So, if we could get him there alone, it shouldn't be too hard to scare him.
Maybe, maybe not. He claims he's not afraid of anything.
That's easy to say. I'm not so sure. Only, we have to get rid of the other 2. What do you know about them?
One of them is afraid of wild animals. Won't even go into the woods on his own.
I see. And the other one?
He's afraid of fire, but I doubt an ordinary campfire would do the trick.
Well, we'll think of something. Anyway, you take care of the first one.
How, though?
Haven't you learned anything from me? Talk to a dog.
Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Any particular one, Master?
The most frightening one, of course.
And how am I supposed to recognize him? One looks the same as another.
By his bark, naturally. Can't you hear him? He'd scare the wits out of anyone.
That's a dog.
Either that or Satan in the guise of a beast.
All right. And what do I do with him?
Have a conversation with him and see if you can mimic his bark.
Yeah, great idea. People will think I'm barking mad.
God be with you.
My pleasure.
Come closer, my friend.
If it's a bath you're after, I'm afraid you're out of luck.
Oh? How's that?
We're closed. A terrible thing has happened.
Really? What?
The water in the tubs has turned to blood.
Water turned to blood? You're having me on, right?
I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't seen it with my own 2 eyes. Turned to blood.
But that's impossible. How could that happen?
Well, there's been talk that there's a revenant on the loose. Jesus preserve us. All the butcher's meat went bad too. It seems one touch of the revenant's hand is enough to do that. The hens round here have been hexed. They're laying charcoal instead of eggs.
Where did this revenant come from?
There was a charcoal burner who had a tragic fate, and he was buried hereabouts in unhallowed ground. They say he's risen from the grave to take revenge on the locals.
Yeah, I heard of him. What does he want to avenge? The death of his wife?
Hers. And his own, too.
His death? Why? I heard what happened before, but I don't know how he ended up.
I can't tell you that. Some of the older folk still remember, but they ain't keen to talk about it.
Why blood in the baths?
Well, the wife of that fellow who they say has returned from the grave, she bled to death in childbirth. And none of the bathmaids that was here at the time helped her. That's why.
And what about your other services? Are you still doing business?
Aye, for now. Who knows how long, though? What do you need?
God save. How may I help?
Why aren't you selling anything, good wife?
I don't have anything to sell, lad.
Why don't you get some supplies then?
It'd only be a waste of time and money, as long as that revenant is wandering around.
Revenant?
Aye. There's one haunting these parts, and it's spoiling all the meat around.
My God, that's bad news. Especially for your trade.
The meat is the least of it, lad. An unholy thing like that can do all sorts of evil. It can make your life a misery.
Ah, is that so?
May the Lord watch over you.
From the flames of Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
Well, come on then. Bark. Oof, what a beast you are. All right, let's see. Ruff. Ruff. Again. Boo. Boo. Woo. Woo. Boo. 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 That's still not quite it. Yeah. No. Boo. Boo. No. Boo. 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 That's it. And now I'm officially the village idiot.
For a fraction of their true value. So, how did you get on?
I found that mutt. Although from the noises it made, you'd hardly guess it was a dog.
So you've learned to bark?
I have, master.
So bark.
Bark? I'll give you bark.
Easy, easy. Down, boy.
But what if it's not enough?
Ah, ye of little faith. Besides, can you think of any other way?
If we want to have him there on his own, I could always knock the other two out.
And what if he finds them unconscious?
I can always haul them off somewhere he won't find them.
Just make sure you don't botch it, Henry. It could easily turn very sour.
Don't worry. But what about the other fella?
Ah, yes, apprentice. You have the good fortune to witness a genius at work. Watch and learn. An oil lamp.
An oil lamp?
Precisely. Isn't it ingenious?
A marvellous invention, I grant you. But what do you want to do with it?
That's the clever part. I've hung a lamp like this over the Revenant's grave. All you have to do is shoot it down. It'll fall on the grave and burst into flames.
Well, that could work. Only...
Only what?
How can you be sure I'll manage to shoot it down?
I believe in you, Henry. You're my apprentice, versed in the ways of our craft.
Right, I almost forgot.
Anyway, you can practice. The lamp is already hanging up. It just hasn't been lit yet.
Aye, I'll give it a go. And then what?
Then you just have to goad our Felix into putting his money where his mouth is.
But what if he doesn't fall for it?
Refusing would ruin his credibility. Go and see him. I'll bet you anything, if you present it right, he'll jump at it.
All right, I'll give it a try.
Good. Don't delay, though. Practice with the lamp first, if you like, or just go straight to him. What the?
heard there's a revenant haunting these parts.
Ah, you don't want to believe those old wives' tales.
Well, it's not true then.
Of course not. It's just a lot of fairy tales.
You're kind of sure of yourself, aren't you?
That I am. And what's it to you?
Nothing. It's just that, well, bold talk doesn't prove anything.
Are you saying I'm lying?
Well, can you prove your claims?
What?
Well, supposing you spent the night at that grave, like you say. That'd prove there's no revenant, wouldn't it?
You reckon so? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Besides, since you're so fearless, it'd be nothing to you, right?
Aye, that's right.
How about something to buck up your courage? Ah, probably not. You don't need it.
I don't, but it can't hurt. Thanks, Em.
So when are you going to do it?
Just as soon as I can in the evening.
Right. And now you can... Shh! Quiet, Henry. You'll give us away.
Sorry. What's that you're wearing?
What do you think it is?
I don't know, some new fashion?
It's my revenant costume, of course.
My apologies, Master, for not recognising it immediately.
You obviously still have a lot to learn.
So, did they come?
Yes, all three. They're camping at the top of the hill.
Right. I'll have time to get haunting then. Where do I start?
I'll leave that up to you. The main thing is to scare off the two cronies first. I'll take care of fearless Felix.
So I'll scare one off with the lamp?
Yes, just make sure no one sees you shooting.
And the other one with fearsome noises?
That will probably take a few attempts. Ideally, a bit at a time.
Let him work up an appetite for more, so to speak.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Just don't give yourself away.
I won't, but if they do happen to see me coming...
Then you'd better vanish like a wisp of smoke, or make some excuse.
And what will you be doing?
I'll wait somewhere out of the way for a while, and then I'll crash in. So make sure the other two are gone by then.
All right.
Well then, get a grip on yourself. Hey, where did that fire come from? How can you go up?
Where did that fire come from? Jesus, no. Not fire. No. Jesus Christ.
What was that? A wolf?
Some
no,
animal, I
it
suppose.
can't be a wolf. But what? Christ, that noise again. What the? What kind of? Probably nothing. Oh, no, not again. No, please, God, no. I can't stand this. No, no, please, no. They're everywhere. They'll devour me. Jesus Christ, I've got to get away from here.
It's a strange sound. Some animal, I suppose.
That was something!
How did you like that, eh?
Wonderful! I haven't had so much fun since I dressed up as the Pope.
Did you see him run? Like all the demons of hell were on their heels.
One was quite enough, evidently.
So what now?
Now I just wait for my customers to turn up. Come and see me tomorrow before noon, and you'll get your well-earned reward.
Look what I've got for you. You'll love this.
Yeah.
Ah, my dear apprentice, how happy I am to see you.
So, it all worked out then?
Like a dream. I didn't sell half as much in Sassau.
That's good news. Now, about that thing you promised me.
Your well-deserved reward, certainly. Here you have it.
What will you do now?
Well, I could leave. I've got just enough to cover my travel. But I'd be as poor as a church mouse in the next place, so I'd better wait and see if I can sell even more.
Well, at least I'll know where to find you.
The one I buy goods from. And he said right away he'll take them. And how much do I want?
Rabbit paws of all colors, shapes, and sizes.
What I heard about him, he's a right skin. And what did that do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Henry's got to see it.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help. Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet. But I'm only interested in one. The fairest creature on God's green earth.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed, and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect.
See you later.
I've lost everything. Oh.
Only bandits creep around in the dark without a light. Where's your torch? You must be up to no good sneaking around.
I wouldn't beg good neighbours, but I'm reduced to this. I'm from Skalitz and, well, you know.
Here you are. I hope it helps.
May the Lord reward you.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Sir Hans?
Henry, something's gone wrong.
Open up. I'm not going to talk to the door.
That potion tasted rather odd, and now I have a feeling my face is broken out. How do I look?
You're imagining it, sir. You look as irresistible as ever, if not more.
But I feel as if I just fell face first into a nettle patch.
You're just a little flushed from the excitement. It'll pass.
If you're sure. So, what do you think? Can we go to the rendezvous?
Why wait? Carolina won't be able to resist you.
All right, then. Lead on, heart. And you, Henry, follow me. Tell me, Henry, how many girls have you had in your life? If you've had any at all, that is.
Well, there's been a few, but I'm sure I can't compare with you.
Ha! Very true. One day plays will be written about my amorous adventures.
Comedies or tragedies?
That might depend on how things go tonight.
Maybe so, but
There's another very pretty girl living in this house here, but she's already got a suitor.
Since when has that ever bothered you?
Since the time her fellow threw me headfirst into a dung heap and kicked my arse for good measure.
It seems your future subjects don't hesitate to take a stick to you when it comes to minding the womenfolk.
I doubt he would have done it if he recognized me. I was, incognito. We're almost there. You'll hide behind a gravestone or in the bushes and don't...
Hide, Henry. Time to get started.
How do you know it's her who will come out and not someone else?
She got the letter and necklace, didn't she? She knows that I'm... That is, her secret admirer is coming.
And what am I supposed to do?
What do you think, dolt? Prompt me from that book of poetry.
What's that?
Well, I never.
Who's there? I can't see you.
Your most ardent admirer, fair maid.
Uh-huh. And do you have a name?
What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would still be a flower, wouldn't it?
Start now.
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Gentle night, why linger on? I yearn thus for my love so long. Without her words to still my breast, who shall set my soul to rest?
Gentle night, why linger on? I earned this from my love so long. Whip out your worthy silky breasts. Who shall suck my salty bits?
No! And now my heart in sorrow dwells, from melancholic pining swells, since I, alas, was forced to part from the mistress of my heart.
I know my horses sort of well, some alcohol from 9 to 12. Seems I always have whores apart from the mistress of my heart.
Psst! What on earth are you saying?
What's that hissing?
It's, a feral goose here in the bushes.
Ah, Lord, let me not wait in vain. I long to see my love again. O gentle sir, be of good cheer. I shall not cling to another dear.
Landlord, let me not wait in vain. I long to sing and laugh again. O gentle sir, get off your chair. I shall not bring you another beer.
Jesus, Henry! What kind of yokel nonsense are you babbling?
Me? You're the one who's babbling?
You're an odd one. I've never heard such peculiar poetry in my life. Where on earth did you come up with it?
It's not my fault. It's really not my fault.
If I don't get my oats, I'll string you up by the ballsack.
How did you like it, dearest?
Ah, how tender you are. Father is coming! Hide!
Who was that talking? If it's some dandy again, I'll gut him with my filleting knife.
I didn't hear anyone.
Did you hear what he said? But I have a bad feeling about this, Hans. I think we should...
Are you still there?
Still here, my love. How could I have apart from you?
Father's coming. He'll kill you.
He will not. Because it'll never cross his mind where I'll be. Henry, it's time for me to claim my prize. Whatever happens, cover my back.
There you are, you seducer! Now you'll see how a butcher protects his daughter's honor.
Buy me time.
You got some explaining to do, you bastard! What are you after, you bastard, sneaking around an honest citizen's house in the dark?
I went to mourn over the grave of my great-grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Then what are you doing right beneath my window, eh?
No, the question is, why are you trampling on great-granny's grave, eh?
Enough of your horse shit. One more word, and I'll have you.
You really came.
How could I not, my dearest?
Not so fast, Prince Charming. But, since you're here...
Hey, what was that?
Well, I think the neighbours are being a bit rowdy. Nothing to worry about.
I could have sworn it was from inside my house.
Well, what's that got to do with me?
Someone's been creeping around after my daughter. I come out, and I find you here. Quite a coincidence, eh? So, out with the truth.
You're quite mistaken. I've never laid eyes on your daughter, and if she looks anything like you, I'd rather keep it that way.
Why, you fucking...
Mon petit lapin.
There's a lace here. Untie it.
Don't try to make a fool of me. I heard it clearly. What was that?
Probably just the evening breeze blowing down the chimney. That can make all sorts of weird noises.
Breeze? It sounded like voices to me.
Darkness and fear can do all sorts of things to a man's mind. But not to worry, good man. I'm here, and I know how to fight. Besides, those hands of yours look like brawlers too.
You really think I imagined it?
I heard voices too. Well, could have been voices. I wouldn't swear to it, though.
Look, fellas, I was standing right here, and I didn't hear a thing. Do you take me for a madman?
Whatever you are, I want to know what you're doing under my daughter's window, and who was talking to her. I heard it clear as day.
Good neighbour, it can't be denied that old age dulls a man's ears. I'm here alone, praying for the souls of the good people resting in the cemetery. I've nothing to do with your daughter.
That voice sounded different to yours, though. But where did he get to? You must have seen him. Unless you're covering for him.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Jasem skutni hori kodelnikov syn.
What the fuck are you playing at? My patience is wearing thin.
I've had enough of you and your nonsense.
I was just thinking the same about you. You'll get the hiding of your life.
You'd show what you're made of. Gonna enjoy this. Gone weak at the... I'll slaughter you.
Take that.
Come here, lily liver. I'll adopt.
Is that all you got? Bring it on! I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
You seriously think you can creep around here in the dark right under my nose? That's against the law. Well, you won't forget this in a hurry.
All right.
You've paid for your crime. You there, stop! Don't move a finger. Hey, you! Halt!
Greetings.
What do you think
What
this
business
is?
have you?
An inn? Get the
How
hell
did it go
out
with
of
Carolina, Sans?
Henry, it was the most wonderful
Hey,
night of
Get
my
up off
life.
that bed.
She
No business
was
here.
completely entranced by my
Hey,
courting.
you think you own
I
the
hardly had to
place?
touch her, and she
Snoring
melted
here?
in my arms.
Clear off.
And then
Get
she
up.
took me to
What
paradise.
are you doing lying here?
It was
Get the hell
glorious.
out.
It was sublime. Thanks, in part,
You
to
can't be
you, my
serious.
faithful
Sleeping in other
henchman
people's
and
beds.
messenger of
Get
love.
out, or you'll be sorry.
You've earned your reward.
It was an honor, Sir Hans. When are you going to see her again?
How dare you sleep in someone else's
Oh,
bed?
I'm not going to
Get
see her
lost.
again. All beautiful things must come to an end, and, after all,
Hey, do
I
you
am a
think you
nobleman,
own the
and she
place?
is the butcher's daughter.
Snoring here?
Well, that's how it ends,
Clear
with the
off.
love of your life. After
do
the
you think
secret
this is?
gifts,
An
the
inn?
letters, the intrigues,
hell out of
reciting poetry in the moonlight.
My eloquence was wasted on her, Henry.
Hey,
Imagine,
get
the
up
silly
off that
cow
bed.
couldn't even read.
You've no business
She
here.
returned the letter to me unopened. Here's the letter, Henry. Read it.
Hey, young fella.
At least you're
You
capable
can't
of
sleep
appreciating my
here.
literary
Go
talent.
and find a bed of your
Read
own.
and learn from a
Out.
poet.
See you later.
You can't be serious. Sleeping in other people's beds. Get out, or you'll be sorry.
God be with you, Henry.
And well, I'm sure we can come to some agreement, your lordship.
Well, bearing in mind, Master Butcher, that we had nothing to come to agreement about yet.
Well, yes, sir. No, sir. Well, I thought I ought to let you know what happened. My daughter's good name could be dragged through the mud. And his young lordship's too, of course.
Well, only if she should find herself with a permanent reminder.
Oh, well, that could happen yet, sir, couldn't it? If her belly starts to grow. You know how word gets around, and, well, folk would assume that Sir Hans is the father, even if some other young fellow was to come along in the meanwhile, and, well, you already know, the girl can't be watched.
Are you trying to blackmail me? Have you forgotten that I am the lord of this town, and that you are nothing but a stinking butcher?
Oh, God forbid, sir. I'm just thinking of his young lordship's reputation, and my girl's. But, of course, if his young lordship was to recognize the bastard as his own, and pay for his upbringing...
You can thank your lucky stars you're the only butcher around here. Otherwise, I'd have you out on your ear this very day.
But, sir, I'm only...
Here, take this, you damn scoundrel, and never show your face here again.
Thank you, your lordship. I'm sure this will be enough. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly.
Blasted fool Capon. I'll wring his neck. I'll have his balls on a platter!